folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another firearms related video. Today we're going to be looking at this Dominate Defense Mach 1 competition gun belt. Now, the gun belt is a piece of gear which a lot of competitive shooters tend to overlook or not put a great deal of thought and resources into. And I believe that's a mistake because it really is the foundation for all your gear. If your gun belt doesn't work, it's going to affect you in many other ways, not just from an optimal performance standpoint, but it could cause you to get DQ'd. Now, I first heard about the Dominate Defense Mach 1, giving credit where credit is due, on the Paracast podcast. And when I heard about it, I was really excited because it sounded very similar to the type of gun belt that I did wear, although it had some improvements. But before I get into that, let's talk about why the design of the Dominate Defense Mach 1 is superior to a traditional gun belt. So here we have a traditional gun belt. It is the type that many shooters use. It has both an inner and outer belt and a keeper here. This is a CR Speed gun belt. The inner belt velcros to the outer belt. All the gear hangs onto the outer belt and attaches to the outer belt. The inner belt is designed to go through belt loops, and then the outer belt is designed to velcro onto the inner belt, and you use this keeper and hope to God that everything is kept into place and nothing falls off, particularly when you're running a stage. And there's all kinds of problems with this kind of a design. Many people use it successfully, but if you don't have the keeper on right, if you don't have everything attached just correctly, the outer belt can come away from the inner belt with the weight of your holsters, firearm, and ammunition, and you can find yourself with your belt around your legs, and if you're lucky, you don't get DQ'd. I've seen guys, particularly in 3-gun, running with firearms in their holsters on their belt, and the belt come down, and that's of course an instant DQ. Now, the 3-gun community did come up with a better design. I will credit the 3-gun community for coming up with this particular design. I'll show you my 3-gun belt, which has what I'll call step 2 in this design. Okay, so this is my 3-gun belt, and it looks like it's a fairly traditional kind of belt, similar to what we just saw, but you will see that it does have this kind of buckle here, or ratchet system, and the other end of the belt feeds into that, like so. And when you want to take it off, you just lift on right here, and you can pull it out. And that is nice because in 3-gun, you've got so much other stuff on your belt. You've got these caddies, the pistol holster, you've got pistol holsters here, you've got an AR-15 holster. There's a lot more gear that you can have, and it's really nice when you want to go to the little shooter's room and take a little break. Why, you just pop the buckle off. You could take your belt off, put it on your cart with all of your firearms and magazines and such on the belt, right in there, and leave it, go to the bathroom, and come back. That is not something you can do with a traditional belt design like we just saw. There's a company, and I forget who exactly I bought this from. Could have been Tapco. I can't quite remember. But you basically take a traditional belt and you drill into it to attach both the buckle and the track here, the ratchet buckle and the track that it goes into. Now, the problem that I ran into with this particular design is that if you don't have your belt sized just correctly, if you perhaps need to tighten it down a little bit too much, there it is kind of at the midpoint, and you can see that the ends of the belt are meeting. Now look what happens if I need to continue to tighten it. It begins to bind. It begins, and this will kind of go into your back, and the belt just kind of deforms. Really, the belt was not designed to be used with this kind of a ratchet system, so it only kind of works. You really need to make sure the belt is perfectly sized for it to kind of be in the middle of the track there, because if you have to tighten down more than that, then you're going to see this binding problem, which is no fun. Okay, so we've seen how a ratcheting system mated to a traditional belt kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. So now let's take a look at why the Dominate Defense Mach 1 design is so much better. So you'll see that the belt that they have is very similar to a traditional belt. It's very stiff, very rigid, and can easily hold a lot of gear. There's also a Velcroed inner belt that attaches to the outer belt. And you will see that, much like what we saw before, there is a track that runs through this buckle here. Go ahead and remove the track. There. But you'll also see that there's a big difference here. The inner belt has some loops in it that this hook here that's from the other side of the inner belt attaches to. And this does a couple of things for you. One, it provides a lot of additional security and peace of mind that in the unlikely event that this track should come out of the ratcheting buckle and the system should fail, the inner belt serves as a backup. So your gear should still stay attached and the belt will not come off thanks to the inner belt. So that's a nice peace of mind. I've been using these ratcheting systems for a long time. Never had one fail, but you never know, it could happen. So again, that's a nice backup. But the other thing that it does for you is, again, the system is just designed from the ground up to be a ratcheting belt system. It's not a ratchet system that's just kind of attached to a traditional belt. If you feed it through and you begin to tighten it, you will see that you do not encounter the binding issue that we saw before. You can pretty well infinitely tighten this and it will not bind, which is fantastic. No binding whatsoever. So again, you can get this as tight as you need to, and thanks to the flexibility provided by the inner belt, this thing can adjust to a variety of sizes. You don't have to worry about, will it fit me if I decide to wear a coat, or if I'm only wearing a t-shirt. You can size it up or down to meet those needs, no problem. And then again, if you need to, for whatever reason, you can always very easily and quickly detach the belt. Just press that button and the track comes out very easily, very quickly, and you can remove the inner belt and it comes off very simply. So there you have it, the Dominate Defense Mach 1, a competition gun belt. I think it's the best one out on the market. I've tried many different varieties and types of competition gun belts, and I think this one offers the most utility, the most safety, and the most flexibility for a variety of situations in sports. If you're like me and shoot a number of different practical shooting sports, it's really a fantastic gun belt. Head on over to the Dominate Defense website. The URL shown up here on the screen. And if you are a listener to the Paracast podcast, they do regularly advertise a discount code for the Dominate Defense Mach 1. And when you order it, you have the opportunity to get a variety of different looks and configurations. This one has some blue stitching You can get different colors of the belt, stitching, all kinds of different varieties. Really, you can custom configure these to your heart's content, so you can get it to look like however you want. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, God bless. We'll see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.